All right, welcome, and thanks for coming out today. Today we're finally going to talk about that Facebook phone. Or more accurately, we're going to talk about how you can turn your Android phone into a great, simple social device. You're going to be able to transform your Android phone into a great social phone. Now, at Facebook, our mission is to give people the power to share and make the world more open and connected. And we talk about these two words a lot, open and connected. Open means having access to information and being able to learn about the world around you. Connected means having access to people and being able to reach out to and know what's going on with anyone who you care about. These two concepts are a lot of what makes us human. And because of that, it's no surprise that we all spend so much time using social tools. As a matter of fact, on average, we all spend about 20% of our time in phones on Facebook. And if you add an Instagram, that's more than 25%. And if you count all of the social and communication apps, it's even more. So no other category of activity even comes close. We spend our lives sharing and connecting. So we asked ourselves, if we're all spending so much time on our phones interacting with people, then how can we make this easier? What would it look like if instead of our phones being designed around apps first and then just being able to have some interactions with people inside of those apps, if we flipped that around and made it so that our phones were designed around people first, and then you could also interact with apps when you wanted to? What would it feel like if our phones were designed around people, not apps? Well, it would feel really different. Computers have been designed around apps and tasks for more than 30 years, with a modern UI dating back to Windows 1.0 in the early 80s. Computers used to be these expensive and clunky and not very fun to use devices. So you'd really only ever use one when you had a task that you wanted to perform. You'd open it up and you'd double click on the icon that you wanted to use, and you'd go in and perform your task and close it down, and that was basically your workflow. And now, fast forward 30 years later, and even though the devices that we're using are a lot nicer now, the UI model is actually largely the same. Now, there's a place for this. So a lot of the time, we do need to do tasks, and this is a great model for that. But now, there's a new use case that is becoming more and more important. We have our phones with us all the time, and more, we just want to know what's going on with the people around us. How often have you had this happen to you where you're basically a few minutes in between meetings, or you're standing in line at the store and you want to know what's going on, so you pull out your phone to see which of your apps have that little red dot on them, and to see what content is going on. Now that isn't performing a task. That's just wanting to stay connected and know what's going on in your world. That's being human. So, and why do we need to go into all those apps in the first place in order to see what's going on with the people we care about? That's because today, our phones are designed around apps and not people. So we want to flip that around. We want to bring all this content to the front and make it so that you can also just go ahead and use whatever apps you need whenever you need them. Now, the thing is, we've actually seen this pattern before. Before we had Newsfeed on Facebook, we all navigated through a homepage that was just a list of apps. So if you wanted to see Friends updates, you clicked on Friends. If you wanted to see photos, you clicked on Photos. If you wanted to see messages, you clicked on Messages. And then we got Newsfeed, and this changed the way that we interacted with all of these services. It made it so that instead of just being a list of apps, Home was now all of this fresh content. And it made Home feel like a home. It brought it to life. It gave it this soul. And we all realized that this was a much better way for us to consume content, and as a result, we all started consuming a lot more, about twice as much, nearly overnight. So now we want to bring this experience of having a home, of always knowing what's going on around you, right to your phone. And we want to deliver this experience to as many people as possible. So we don't want to build some kind of phone or operating system that only some people are going to be able to use. Right? A great phone might sell 10 or 20 million units at best. And our community has more than 1 billion people in it. So even if we did a really, really good job building a phone, we'd still only be serving 1 or 2% of the people in our community. And we want to do more than that. We want to build the best experience for every person on every phone. Now, at the same time, Facebook also isn't just a lightweight app that's running everywhere. On average, we all spend more than 3 times as much time with Facebook as any other app that's out there. So more than 3 times as much. And it's also a platform, too, with more than half of the top grossing apps in the App Store plugged in and connected to Facebook. So we're not building a phone, and we're not building an operating system, but we're also building something that's a whole lot deeper than just an ordinary app. So how does this work? Well, today we're going to focus on Android. And the great thing about Android is that it's so open. And by that, what I mean is that it was designed carefully so that you can improve almost any part of the system. You can have apps that handle your SMSs, that can dial and receive phone calls for you, that can be your system camera, that can be your keyboard, or can even be the home screen of your phone. You don't need to fork Android to do this. You don't even need to modify the operating system, really. Android was designed from the ground up to support these kind of deep integrations. And because of Google's commitment to openness, you can have experiences on Android that you can't have on most other platforms. All right, let's pause this for a moment. Now, with Home, you see your world through people, not apps. One of the most important things that we do as people is stay connected with what's going on in the world around us. So Home is designed specifically to help you do this. So let's say you're waiting in line at the grocery store and you look down and you see these beautiful immersive updates of your friend finishing a bike race or your family cooking a meal together or news from your favorite sports team. You might have missed these otherwise if you had to go into an app to see them. But with Home, they're brought right in front of you. Since Home is the lock screen in addition to the home screen, you don't need to do any swipes or gestures in order to be able to see this content. And it's all right there as soon as you look at your phone, because you've already loaded all this content in the background while your phone was sleeping. So you can flip through stories if you want. And if you find something that you like, you can double tap to like it right there. You can comment right there from the home screen. And one of the things that you're going to notice is that all of the interactions are just really smooth and natural. You know, we wanted this to feel like system software and not just an app that you run. And we feel like there's a higher quality bar for that. So we've spent a lot of time building up infrastructure and tooling in order to make this the highest quality experience that you're going to have on Android. Now, some updates are more important than others. And Cover Feed is great for being able to stay on top of what's going on with all the people you care about. But sometimes there's a more important message and you want to get notified. And if your phone is designed around people, not apps, then your notifications should be too. So let's say I get a message from my friend. I'm going to get a notification with her face and her name instead of an app's icon and the app's name. So I'm easily going to be able to tell if this is a person who I want to interact with now. And if I do, then I could just tap on it to pull her up and interact with her. Or if not, I could just swipe away to throw her away for now. And you know, let's say there's a bunch of people who are interacting with me and I don't want to deal with this right now. I can just press on it to grab them all and throw them away if I want. But a lot of the time you want to get back to your notifications later. So you can also just dock them, throw them down, and continue just browsing your cover feed. So that's putting people first in your phone. But apps are really important too. So we wanted to design Home so that it's just as easy to get to your apps using Home as with any other phone that you'll use. It's just one swipe away from the home screen or lock screen. So you pull up your lock screen, and with one swipe you can bring up your app. So let's say that you want to get directions to a restaurant that you're going to go to. What you do is you put your finger on your face there at the bottom, and these options pop out for apps, Messenger, and the last app that you're in. You just swipe up, and there are your apps right there. Just one swipe away. All your apps, and the launcher has pages and everything else that you'd expect. So you can go and you can tap on Maps to get your directions. Then when you're done, you just throw it away, and you're back to cover feed and your friend's content. So that makes it really easy to get to all of your apps. But there's one in particular that we wanted to make even easier: messaging. Phones are communication devices, and we spend all day long messaging. But in today's app-centric world, messaging is treated like just another app. So that means that all day long when you're messaging, you're constantly switching back and forth between apps, and that can be annoying. And we think that it should be better. You know, we all want to talk to people, not apps. So we came up with this idea that we call chat heads. And the idea is really simple. So let's say a friend messages you. In this case, it's going to be Shrep. He'll pop up, and it's going well. And you can just tap on his face and bring up his conversation, and without losing any context of what you're doing in the app behind. And this can stay there in any app that you're in. So let's say you're playing a game, and you want to tell your friend about it. Now that's easy. If you're looking at a photo and you want to reach out to someone immediately, now you can do that, no problem. Chat heads give you this immediate personal connection to the people you care about. So now let's say another message comes in. This time it's going to be from Cheryl. Now you get two, and you can easily switch between them. You can close them, and they collapse into this nice little pile on the side of the screen, so they're not taking up much room. You can move them around to find the right place where you want them to be. That's a lot of fun. And then the most fun of all, when you're done with them, you just throw them away at the bottom. Bam. All right. Now, chat heads work with both your Facebook messages and your SMSs on your Android phone. So we think that chat heads are this great personal way to do messaging. Now, I just blew through a lot of stuff. So there's a lot of detail in each of the things that we went through, and we want to go through it in some more detail. So in order to do that, I'd like to hand it off to Adam Masseri to take us through this some more. Adam?
Hi, I'm Adam, and I get the pleasure of walking you through a live demo of what we've actually built today. Live demos are a little risky, so if there are any hiccups, I'd appreciate you guys being patient. I'd like to start with cover feed, and what really is my favorite part of the product, which is the moment you turn on your phone. As Mark mentioned earlier, you turn on your phone roughly 100 times a day or more. You do so while you're waiting in line to buy something for lunch, or maybe you're on an airplane waiting for it to take off, or you might be checking your phone right now. I can see someone checking their phone. Typically, all you see is the clock, and if you're lucky, maybe a snippet of an email or a calendar invite, but not much more. And what we aspire to do with Home is provide a lot more value in that moment. And so, as soon as you turn on your phone, this is what you see. Actually, that's you guys right now. This is cover feed. You see the clock briefly, your profile picture, so you know that it's your phone, and this visually rich news feed we call cover feed. It'll automatically slide from story to story to story if you like, and you want to sit back and watch. And so let's go through this. Elizabeth, she's a content strategist on the team. Looks like she checked in somewhere. Here's a story on Instagram. It's a photo story. Open graph stories with large images show up in cover feed, and we're really excited to see that. You'll see link shares, status updates. This is Julie Zhu. She's a designer here. That's a pretty sweet photo. Here's a status update, also from Julie. So for status updates, what we did is we wanted it to feel consistent with the photo stories. So we used the cover photo as the background, but then we put your text in the front so you could know, so there was a clear distinction of what you were seeing. Let's go through some more stuff. That's me. That's a little embarrassing. And so if you see a photo you like, you can long press it to have it zoom out like I did before. Or you can double tap it to like. And it'll just show you a big little like icon right underneath your finger. That's Justin. He worked really hard on this presentation. So I'm going to like that too. And you can swipe through. If you see something you want to comment on, or let's find something that already has comments. No comments, no comments, no comments. Oh, we'll just make a new comment. You just tap the comment icon on the bottom right. Oh, I missed it. And it'll open up the comments in line. Oh, someone did comment. So I can say hi, because that's short, and I'm doing a demo. And when I'm done, I can just swipe it away. And so what we've tried to do is really design a delightful, simple experience, and we've relied pretty heavily on very basic gestures, swiping, tapping, pressing, to make it so that there's nothing between you and your content. You can directly just reach out and touch it. You realize there's no Chrome here, there's no logo, there's no nav. It's the content first. So that's cover feed, and that's really the foundation of what we've built. But as Mark talked about briefly, we also have notifications. So if I tap once to get back, you can see I've got a bunch of notifications. So cover feed aims to always show you the most important thing. Notifications aim to make sure you don't miss the critical things. So messages, SMSs, and a subset of Facebook messages, only the most important ones. And they just appear on top. So if I press and hold my profile pic on the bottom, you'll see I get 3 options: Messenger, Apps, and then my most recently used app. This is actually kind of fun to play with. People do this a lot. We have your most recently used app there in the event that you need to quickly get back to where you were. So imagine you were listening to the new JT album on audio or Spotify, and then like someone walked in the room and you were embarrassed. You can just open your phone, swipe once, and get back and pause that or go to the next track. That's happened to me. If you press and hold, you'll see Apps is the top option. So you just need to swipe up, and what you get is a really clean, simple app launcher. This has pages of bookmarks that you can control. You manage this entirely yourself. You can remove an app. Let's remove someone who's not going to get offended. Boop. If you want to bookmark a new app, one swipe to the left, you'll see a comprehensive list of all of your apps, alphabetically organized. That's called the app drawer. So if I want to bookmark something new, let's find something. What do I want? Dropbox. I'm a big Dropbox user. I can just place that where I like. You'll also notice that there's a really thin, light, inline composer at the top. That's so that if you want to post a status or a photo or a check-in, it's just one quick tap away. And so when you're done, all you have to do is, again, swipe it down. And so that's cover feed, notifications, and the app launcher. What I didn't talk about is chat heads or some of the cool things we're doing around messaging. And for that, I'm going to defer to Joey. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Adam. So, hey, everyone. I'm a designer on Home, and today I'm super excited to talk to you guys about a brand new messaging experience called chat heads. But first, I want to talk a little bit about the state of messaging on your phones today. And we've all had this experience where you'll be watching a video or playing a game or maybe even in the middle of writing something, and someone sends you a message, and then you have to make this decision. Do I completely stop what I'm doing and switch to a different app just to even read this message, even if you're not going to respond? Or do I just ignore my friend, continue what I'm doing, and then have to make a mental note to go back and get to this message later? And both of those are just bad experiences. You should really be able to talk to your friends no matter where you're at in your phone, and no matter what app you're in, and your friends shouldn't just be siloed off into these apps. And your messaging and communication shouldn't only happen in certain places on your phone. And this is exactly what we wanted to fix with chat heads. And so with chat heads, you can talk to whoever, wherever you're at in your phone. And let me show you how this works. All right. So if you saw, I just got a message, actually. And if I open an app, that message just follows me. And if I was about to read this article, and that's what I wanted to do, I could just start in, and the message would persist. And this message is a chat head. And it's actually from my friend Mac. And you can see the chat head shows his profile picture. And right when it came in, it showed a preview of his message. So I understand the context. And there's also an unread count, so I know how many messages he sent that I haven't read yet. And so just by tapping on this chat head, it pops me into the conversation. And the thing that's so cool and so special about this is that this is all happening right over the article I'm about to read, and right over the app I'm using. So no matter what you're doing, you can just quickly pop into these conversations. It's very, very lightweight. And it looks like Mac wants to go check out a G.I. Joe movie tonight, so say, yeah, not busy, not giving a demo or anything. Check the times. So when I'm done responding to Mac, if I wanted to go back and just continue reading the article, again, I could either tap Mac's chat head, and it would take me back, or with a simple gesture, I could just swipe the conversation up, and it would also collapse it. And it's gestures like this that make chat heads so fun and so lightweight. But I need to figure out the times with Mac, so I'm going to hop into Fandango really quickly and see. And if you notice here again, too, when I was switching these apps, Mac's chat head just stayed there with me. So it really feels like your friends are always there. It's always accessible. And it's really cool. And so I'm going to go find G.I. Joe. Looks like it's at 7:05 or 9:50. So I'm going to say this back to Mac. And if you saw, as I was doing that, I just got another message. And this is a message from my friend Drew. So if I want to switch to this message now, it just butts the chat head over. And I can tap on it, and it takes me to this message. So seamlessly, you can carry on multiple conversations with the people you care about, and it's really, really easy to do. And again, I can tap back to switch and tap back. And the one thing you'll notice about this message is it's very subtle, but this is actually a text message. And you can tell because there's a green button and the green bubbles, but not much more than that. And that's because we wanted to focus on an experience that it didn't matter what app you use or what technology you use to send the message, but just that you have your friends there and you're all talking to them. So text messages and SMS, or text messages and Facebook messages both share the chat head design. And if you see, I actually just got another one, which is a message from a group. I think it's my roommates, actually. But it showed up as a group chat. And you can tell because the chat head is divided, showing all of the people who are in the thread. And again, just tapping, I can manage these 3 conversations really easily. And it looks like this is about rent. So with a conversation like this, you can just pick up the chat head and flick it off the bottom, and it's gone. And so that's how you close an individual chat. And if you wanted to close all of your messages at once, again, just swipe up to collapse them. And you can always drag these things around and position them wherever you want, wherever they comfortably fit. And then you can pick the pile up. It's pretty fun to spring these around. And again, chuck them off the bottom. And so that's chat heads. And they're a way you can talk to your friends no matter what you're doing on your phone, no matter what app you're in. They're really the first experience where you can manage multiple conversations with just a single tap. And I've been playing with them for a while, and I can honestly say they're the most fun and delightful messaging experience yet. So thank you.
Sweet. Thanks, Joey. So now you've seen Home, and you're probably wondering, how do you get it? So we made it really simple. So after we launch, if you have the most recent Facebook app on Android and you have Messenger on Android, you'll see this. Just click Install. And that's going to take you to the Play Store. Because if you're just software on Android, the easiest way to get installed is to come off the Google Play Store. It handles the download, it handles the installation, setup, puts a shortcut on your home screen, you're good to go. Now, there is one small difference, as with anything that handles intents on Android. When you launch it, Android wants to make sure you really want to do this. And so you really have 2 choices. The first is you're just kind of exploring Home, you just heard about it, you just want to try it out, so you just go try once. Or you're walking out of here, you're super psyched, and you're just like, I'm in. And so you just do always, and then you're good to go. And that's it. Home is up and running on your phone. And what's great about being software on Play is it actually potentially makes us available to a really wide range of Android devices. We think Home is going to be a great experience on tablets. It has an almost chromeless UI. It has huge images, a great tactile interface. We think this is going to be a really great way to experience Home and Facebook on tablets. Now, we aren't quite done with tablets yet, so this isn't at launch. We're not going to be launching on tablets. But we are going to try to make it available on tablets within several months after we launch. And that ability to update is important. Normally when you think about system software like an operating system or a phone, you think about once a year. You think about getting that new operating system and saying, wow, this has a bunch of cool new features. And then those are the only features you get for a year. And we don't think that's fast enough. And so like all of our other mobile apps, Home is going to release every month. And so every month, Home is going to come out, it's going to have more features, it's going to work on more devices, and it's going to be better, just like everything else we do on mobile. And there had been a lot of speculation about how we would build this. Are we going to make a Facebook operating system? Are we going to massively fork Android? And it's not the right way to do this. Android was built from the ground up to be open. Last year we released an entirely rebuilt iOS app, and we rebuilt the feed experience on Android. And that was really the first step in transforming how we build mobile products at Facebook. Home's the next step. With Home, it's not just mobile first, but mobile best. We want mobile to be the best, the most natural, the highest quality way to access Facebook. So when we set out to build Home, we challenged ourselves to build the highest quality experience on Android. We rewrote core components to make them fast and responsive. We built an entirely new UI layer based on physics, so that every time you're swiping between images or you're playing around with chat heads, it feels physical and real. I want to just take a moment to thank all the teams that let us show you Home today. And with that, I'm going to hand it back to Mark.
Hi, thanks, Corey. We're really proud of Home, and we're excited to get it in your hands. From how immersive the content is, to the joy you feel when your friend's face pops up with a new message, to how natural and smooth all the interactions are, we think that this is the best version of Facebook there is. And this is the result of a lot of hard work. And importantly, none of this would be possible without all of the activity and sharing that this amazing community does all day long. So I want to take a moment to thank everyone who worked on this and everyone who's watching on the live stream who is a part of this community and is making all this possible. Thank you, guys. All right, now I want to show you a fun little video that we put together that I think captures this delightful experience of using Home. We can all relate to this experience of, you're in a situation, maybe it's a little boring, you have a moment, and you pull out your phone hoping that somewhere in the world something interesting is happening. And this is how we feel about using this product, and I want to share it with you.
Hey, what's up?
Hey! Dear, something's wrong with right here.
Uncle Josh! I ate all the chocolate cake.
Sir, I need you to put that away now.
Okay.
Okay.
Welcome to Facebook Home, a whole new experience for your phone.
So that's Home. We are looking forward to putting it in all of your hands. We're going to start off with just a few devices that we're supporting for download, and we're going to make this available for download starting in about a week on April 12th. So we're looking forward to getting it in all of your hands. Now, before we go, there's one more big thing that we want to talk about. We're serious about making it so that as many people as possible can use Home. And one way that you can get Home is by downloading it and installing it on your Android phone. But phone makers come to us all the time and ask to put Facebook on their phones so that way you can share with your friends right out of the box. And we want to empower them to do this. So we've created the Facebook Home program as a set of guidelines for how to make this the best experience possible. So that way, if you buy a phone with Facebook Home, you know that you're getting the best quality experience that's possible here. And I'm excited to share that before even announcing Home, a lot of the best phone makers and carriers around the world have already signed up to deliver great experiences with Home. And today, I want to highlight two, AT&T and HTC, who have worked together to build the first set of phones that come with Facebook Home on them. And I'm really excited for this. So I'd like to invite Peter Cho from HTC and Ralph De La Vega from AT&T to come talk about what they've built.
How you doing? So good morning. I'd like to congratulate Mark and the rest of the Facebook team. We've been working this project for a long time, and I'm excited to be here today announcing it with you today. It's clear that Facebook has created a truly unique experience. And you all have seen how mobile and social are transforming people's lives. And mobile is fundamentally social. It's all about connecting with other people. And social is increasingly mobile. So innovation is in our DNA. So Facebook knows that HTC has a track record of being bold and being first to market with many new technologies and partners and delivering great quality and design. So we are proud of always delivering new experiences to people. So today, I'm proud to introduce the HTC First. So we are excited the HTC First because it's a great opportunity to bring mobile and social together, even more closer. And the HTC First is the ultimate social phone because it also combines the new Facebook Home and great HTC design. And it will give you the best Facebook experience. It's the only phone that has Facebook Home preloaded and well optimized. That means you are going to have unique experiences like notification for your emails and calendars and app updates right on your Facebook Home. We are also excited to announce that HTC First will have 4 colors. And you can be social if you're not connected. So HTC First will also give you blazing speed of AT&T LTE network. So to tell you more about that, please welcome my friend, Ralph De Vega.
All righty.
Thank
you, Peter. Good morning, everyone. How we doing? Woo! This is amazing. You know, when Mark first approached us about this experience, we were right there in the very beginning. And what captivated me was the vision that he shared with you this morning, that this is going to be the best Facebook mobile experience ever, and that it's going to be people-centered, that apps are not at the center, but people are at the center. And we bought into that. I remember the first few days when he said, okay, so who are we going to get to work with us on this? What OEM do we get? And one name came up, Peter and HTC. And the reason for that is very clear. He's been a great partner with us. HTC is a great innovator. They make beautiful hardware and powerful hardware as well. So we brought Peter in, and that led to the HTC First, which we're very, very proud to sponsor. So look at this. You have a great Facebook experience, the best ever. Now, what I like about the HTC First is, of course, as you would expect, an LTE device. So it rides on AT&T's 4G LTE network, which I'm proud to tell you is the fastest 4G LTE network in the country. And if you don't believe me, go look at Root Metrics. Last month they declared, when they surveyed all the carriers, that AT&T's 4G LTE network was the fastest pure download of any carrier that they tested. So we're thrilled to have this opportunity to bring that vision that Mark first outlined to fruition. And I know it took a lot of people in this room to bring it about, but I think you've done an exceedingly great job at it. So you're now wondering, okay, when is it going to be available? Well, it's going to be available on April the 12th for a great price of $99.99 exclusively at AT&T. And so this is fantastic, yes. The first Facebook home optimized phone in the world, thanks to the great cooperation between HTC, Facebook, and the AT&T teams. And actually, you can actually pre-order it today. So if you really want to be the first ones to get this, go to AT&T.com/Facebook Home, and you can order it today. It'll be available on April 12th. So, Mark, thank you for letting us be part of this great project. Turn it back to you. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. I think you did a really nice job with these phones. They're nice and minimal. The screens are crisp and big, but they're not too big. And I'm really looking forward to seeing our services run on your phones. And I'm also looking forward, Peter, to seeing you guys getting this running in Europe with some of our next partners, EE and Orange, over the next few months. So I'm looking forward to that. Now, once more, I'm really excited to get home in all of your hands You're going to be able to download it and install it on your Android phone, or you can buy the HTC First starting on April 12th. So I'm really excited for this moment. At one level, this is just the next mobile version of Facebook. But at a deeper level, I think that this can start to be a change in the relationship that we have with how we use these computing devices. For more than 30 years, computers have mostly just been about tasks, and they had to be. I mean, they were too expensive and clunky and hard to use for you to really want them to want to use them for much else. But the modern computing device has a very different place in our lives. It's not just for productivity and business, although it's great for that too. It's also for making us more connected, more social, more aware. And home, by putting people first and then apps, by just flipping the order, is one of many small but meaningful changes in our relationship with technology over time. Now, when I think about the world today, what amazes me most is the number of people who are getting on the internet every day and how that's improving their lives as they join this modern knowledge economy. And I grew up with the internet, and I can't really imagine a world without sharing and messaging and searching. But actually, only about a third of the world is on the internet today, a little more than 2 billion people. So we're really very close to the beginning of this instead of the end. And if you look out 5 or 10 years, when all 5 billion or so people who have feature phones are going to have smartphones, we're soon going to be living in a world where the majority of people who have a smartphone, a modern computing device, will have never seen in their lives what you and I call a computer. So think about that for a moment. The very definition of what a computer is and what our relationship with it should be hasn't been set for the majority of the world. And when it is, I think that a lot of that definition is going to be around people first. So we're about to see the most empowered generation of people in history, and it's really an honor to be able to work on these problems. This is a deeply technical problem, and it's also a deeply social problem. This is the kind of work that Facebook and our culture and our community are uniquely built to do. And we look forward to continuing to do it and to sharing what we come up with all of you. Thank you.